and sit down.
Hello and welcome from North Wales Side by Side. I've got a different car in the workshop tonight. I've got a 58 plate Mark II 1.3 Yaris with approximately, I don't know, probably about 120,000 miles on it. Let's have a look. 119,100 miles, which is what this car's got on it. And it's my sister's. And I'll give you a little bit of history on the car. When I did the world tour in August, my sister came crying to my dad to say she got no brakes. And my dad had a look at the car and found that she'd actually run the brake pads down to the metal and gone through one of the backing plates and was braking on the piston on the caliper. So Dad very kindly bought a set of discs and pads for her and a brand new caliper, which you can see fitted to the car there. And he filled it up with brake fluid, bled the brakes, and he gave her the car back. And a couple of weeks ago, she come and found me, probably about 4 weeks ago, and she says, I've got a warning light on the dash that won't go out. But she says, I think it's the handbrake warning light. I said, well, bring it round, let's have a look at it. And she never did. Anyhow, yesterday, she says, I've now got no brakes. Brake pedal goes to the floor, there's nothing. So, check the brake fluid, which is something she never ever does. Top the brake fluid up, as you can see. And I parked it in the garage and I turfed the MR2 out, so the MR2's parked up outside. As you can probably see, I've got the brake lights on because I'm trying to find a leak. And it's been like this since 2 o'clock this afternoon with the brake lights on. Piece of wood wedging the brake pedal down just to keep some pressure on the brake system. So I did that about 2 and I went off to do another job. Come back into the workshop, probably about an hour and a half ago, and I've been looking under the car. I started at the back, checking the brake back plates, the drums, all the brake pipes under the car, checking for any obvious signs of brake fluid on the floor. And the only brake fluid I could find on the floor was on the driver's side front wheel, which had the brake caliper. And you can see the brake fluid on the floor under the tyre there. So I've just brake cleaned everything off and I've just turned the wheel to full lock. And I noticed the banjo bolt was wet. So I checked it for tightness and it took about half a turn. So I suspect it's been leaking from that banjo bolt for a number of months. So I've just tightened the banjo bolt up now, put the piece of wood back, put some paper towel on the wishbone, and I'm going to leave it pressured up all night and see if there's any brake fluid on that paper towel. If there is, I'm going to change the washers on the banjo bolt tomorrow and re-bleed that caliper, because I think that's where the brake fluid's been going. Because the only brake fluid I could find when I came in was on the tyre, which is directly underneath the banjo bolt, and it had run down onto the floor where you can see the puddle. So I'm hoping that banjo bolt was what was leaking. That's my massive suspicion, being as it's taken half a turn to tighten it up. So when I come in here tomorrow morning, I'm hoping that paper towel is dry and that was the leak. But before I give the car back, I am going to turn it around and I'm going to pull the rear wheels and the drums off, because to my knowledge this car has never had the rear drums pulled on it. So I just want to check the rear linings before I give her the car back and say, look, it's okay now, there's no leaks, your car's fine to go. But also, whilst I've been in here tonight, I pulled the dipstick and there wasn't a drop of oil on the dipstick, so it's just taken 2.5 litres to bring it back up to the full mark. So obviously she's not even checked the oil for months. But fair dues to Toyota. Shit, do they build a tough engine. They build one hell of a tough little engine. Look at it, it's such a clean car. It really is. This is how we bought it. It's absolutely spotless. There's no oil leaks and nothing. It really is a clean little car. So I'm going to leave the charger on it tonight because I don't want the battery going flat, because I've got the brake lights on. And that's how Toyotas work. Even with the key out of the car, if you put your foot on the brakes, the lights come on. So I'm going to leave it like that tonight, and then see what the results are tomorrow morning. But I think I found the leak, and I think it's that banjo bolt. So it's what, 11:45 now, 11:45 to midnight. I'll probably come back in here about 11 o'clock. So that will have given it plenty of time under pressure to leak. But I would have thought it would have leaked already, but I'll see what the results are in the morning. And this is just basic diagnostics. These are simple jobs. You got a brake leak, keep the system under pressure for a couple of hours, you're always going to find the leak. If it's a bad leak, it'll appear straight away. If it's only a little leak, it'll take a little bit of time. And I think that this one's just a little leak, or was a little leak. But I might just put new washers on it tomorrow because I've got some stock. But if it doesn't leak, now I've tightened it up, I'm just going to leave it and send it down the road. Anyhow, thanks for joining me in the workshop again tonight with something different. It's not MR2 related, it's not GR Sport related, it's another family member's car. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Please consider liking, please consider subscribing to the channel, and good night.